Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are live. My name is Rennie, and this is my friend Jim.
Hello,
and
hello.
We are the Rice and Cannoli podcast.
Indeed.
So I think we have to make a confession, right? Because this is actually not our first episode. We had to do a re-record.
No.
And I think the big reason to do the re-record is that we were using a software called Zencaster, and I hate to slag on software providers and stuff, just given that you and I are both founders, but it was atrocious. The experience was so bad. It was so hard to edit the episode. I just threw my hands up and said, screw it, I'm done. I can't, if this is the software we're using, Jim, I love you, but I'm not doing this with you.
Comment and a question.
Yes.
I think Zencaster has been around for a bit. I don't think they're like some new startup. They've been around for a long time.
Yeah, because their interface is so bad and so not intuitive, like compared to Riverside and stuff. And some of the features that they had just didn't even work, right? Like the automatic switching of the two people's faces and stuff. It would just keep getting stuck on mine. And
well, that was going to be my question: was what specifically was going wrong in post?
That was brutal. Because I'm just like, well, I'm not going to sit here and listen to our hour and 20-minute audio and swap back and forth manually myself, because we're both founders.
Indeed. So
ain't nobody got time for that.
The old noggin was on the money. It says 2014 is when they were founded. So
Okay.
12 years, but roughly. I mean, it's not that old, relatively,
but it's old enough.
The bigger picture, but it's old enough in technology terms that could be that we're using Riverside, which I think is a pretty popular option.
I think Riverside's way better.
But you would think that when something like that comes around and competition, that you'd at least make sure that the basics are kind of.
I don't know. I guess maybe it's crazy. Maybe it's the situation of you're so big and people just kind of are paying you and they put up with it, right? Because if you think about it, right, there are so many software companies that kind of exhibit this, right? I'll be honest, right? And I don't know, Benioff's probably gonna hate me for this, right? But I think Salesforce sucks. Salesforce as a CRM is brutal. It's so hard to use. I just don't. It's not intuitive at all. And maybe it's gotten better now. I haven't touched it in at least 5 years, but it's no wonder why HubSpot just destroys them.
I don't think you're alone on that sentimentality. I've seen enough of that. Salesforce hate online, but
it just sucks. And sometimes I think about it too. I'm just well, maybe it's because I'm just not a sales guy, right? And maybe salespeople love how this works. It's so unintuitive to use that you're just why? This doesn't have to be like this. This is so difficult. And maybe it's just because, but this is back in the day when they started building this stuff, right? These are just all wrappers on databases, basically, right? And maybe back then, relational databases just sucked, I guess, or I don't know.
Well, let's see. Salesforce, we're talking 2000, right? .com era. It's a little long in the tooth. So I think you're onto something there with, you kind of get your customer base, whoever they are, and they're just kind of riding with it for better or worse.
And it's probably this too, right? And I'm sure you've probably encountered this, in your startup, is the decision makers are often not the people who actually use it, right? So if you kind of get entrenched in a company and these decision makers love you, and you invite them to Dreamforce every year and you cajole them or whatever, right? And they're oh, this is awesome, this is the greatest thing ever, right? And then it's just the people who use it don't actually have a say as to what they have to use. So I think that's also probably part of it.
Yeah, 100%. So here we are, take two.
Take two.
In some ways, I'm kind of glad we're redoing episode 1 here, because by the time this is going live, and if you're listening or watching to this right now, we've already recorded, 3-4 episodes?
Yeah, we've done some tests.
And we there will be some element of flying by the seat of our pants on this podcast, but we promise we will get all this polished as we go. So I'm curious now how the editing experience has been since we switched tools.
Oh my God, it's way better, dude. Like, honestly, I'm, as you know, very cost conscious as a startup founder. As a bootstrap founder, you and I are both kind of very cost conscious, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would be open to pay for the software out of my own pocket because I feel like it is that much better. However, what I need it to do, right now, I can already get it to do kind of most of everything that we need it to do. So, we don't necessarily have to make this decision on air, as they say, but something for us to think about down the line, when the need arises.
Yeah. And so for anybody out there that thinking about jumping into the old podcasting, YouTubing, whatever game, take it from Rennie. Don't mess with Zencaster.
2 thumbs ups from me.
Riverside for the win.
Yeah. These are no free ads. No free ads.
Sponsor us.
Yeah. Please give us some money.
Now, actually, this also made me think after the fact too. You have some experience podcasting before, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
I do, actually. I had my own very kind of like founder focused podcast where I was interviewing other founders that had participated in Accelerator. And I think I just kind of bit off a little bit more than I could chew because I thought that, I thought I had hundreds of friends that I could actually talk to and book time with, and it turns out I had maybe like 10. So it was hard to get new people on the pod, and I think it also started to become a bit stale because I wasn't probably the best interviewer at the time. I am learning and getting better, and I feel like I was just kind of using the same kind of questions, and as you can imagine, right, like if everyone went through an accelerator, their comments and thoughts and experiences are probably somewhere within the bell curve, right? So I also felt like that became a bit, I guess, stale as a format as well. And I was actually thinking about like changing that as well, right? And like what I wanted to do with it. But yeah, I'm glad that you and I had a chat, and now we're going to do this thing where you and I kind of talk to each other about not just our startups, but things that are happening in the zeitgeist, which I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah, no, I'm super stoked for this. I do not have any of this experience under my belt, so hopefully not too rough on the edges as I get my footing. But at the end of the day, it's just a camera and a microphone, and if you know how to yap and be somewhat interesting, I think that's half the battle right there. And you bring up a good point, because when did this start? I want to say like COVID time, where, and this is kind of the beginning of at least my startup's journey. As we were rolling along, I would get outreach, and I still do, of people wanting me to go on their podcast because they're always looking for guests. And I have yet to do that. I still may do that. I apologize to anybody that I've communicated with on this topic already. In due time. However, that got me thinking, and I know you and I we live on LinkedIn somewhat. In the founder space, in the tech space, all these startup or all these podcasts, to me, they're all the same. And it gets like I'm sure there's lots of interesting tidbits, but let's be honest, we live in an attention economy. And how much of the same content can you consume, of the same questions, the same persona, etc.? I think, we've talked about this off the air, but one of our goals with this is really to be more variety, I think, and something that is independent of our respective startups, something that it becomes its own entity, if you will. And now that's not to say that we won't have some interviews and bring some people on from time to time. I do think we'll try to be topical fairly often when it makes sense. And sometimes it'll just be topics that are burning in the back of our brains that we just really want to talk about. And we'll do our best to make it interesting and worth your time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I mean, to be honest, the real thing was I just wanted to be able to chat with you, like, have a chin wag with you once a week. So,
a what now?
A chin wag.
That's literally what is a chin wag?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that
it's very European?
A European thing? Okay.
Yeah, it's very European.
Did we already tell the viewers and listeners here that you are in Amsterdam and I am in the San Francisco Bay Area?
We haven't. I guess we have not. Yeah, I am currently based in Amsterdam, and Jim, you are in the Bay Area. So yeah, like this is also, like I said, a good way for us to catch up.
Yeah, but chinwag, that is. I'm gonna have to steal that one over here in the States because I've never heard anybody say that before.
It's free for you to use. I'll allow it. As they say.
I got European, bloodlines. Does that count?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I guess you got Italian.
I mean, I am the cannoli on rice and cannoli, right? So,
and I am the rice, exactly.
You are the rice. Yeah.
So,
well, let's segue here. I think the original episode 1 topic that we had recorded previously was on the best of the internet, and it was a little bit of a look back on things we were very fond of at various points of the internet. And we will still cover that. But today, and this came up, we're in a little group with some other founders on Signal. And you mentioned something about Lego scam. Oh. Now, I know we're both chronically online, and I'm usually pretty plugged in about what events are going on in the world. This is one I have zero clue, and I know you've been following very closely. So how about some live filling in and reaction? Tell me, frame it for everybody.
All right. So the backstory, right, is there is a gentleman named Brian, and Brian's dad is, I think he's like 85 years old or something like that. And Brian's dad had been collecting these Star Wars Legos, right? And, I guess he has some very sought after sets. And, reportedly, these Legos were worth, upwards of $200,000. Right? And, not to make a comment on the American healthcare system, right? But then Brian decided, think about it, right? Like, I'm pretty sure you know where this is going. Brian decided, hey, why don't we sell these Legos, right? Dad can pay for hospital bills or whatever. And also, I think some of the money was supposed to go to Brian's kids for college and that kind of stuff, right?
And let me interject here that, especially with inflation, Legos are expensive, and I know this as a father of 2 young boys. It's nuts. There are Lego sets that are like hundreds of dollars in Target or online that, 5-7 years ago would have been half the price.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy, right?
It almost makes me feel like I should have been investing in Legos this whole time. Forget the stock market.
Yeah, apparently. Brian went and, looked for a reputable reseller or, someone that would, buy this collection off of him. And he settled on this company called Bricks and Minifigs, national American franchise, and, had a very good reputation for this kind of thing. So he went to his local one. I think the place he lived in was called Salem, Oregon. And
so this is like there's multiple franchises.
I think there's like hundreds across the U.S.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I've never heard of this, but although like I must say that I'm not also like big into Lego collecting and stuff. Like I have Lego sets that friends have given me, as gifts and stuff, right? Like here's my little good luck cat here. So yeah.
What do you call those cats again? Those are there's a name for those.
It's a good luck, a fortune cat.
No, there's like a Japanese term for that too, isn't there?
I can't remember. I'd never even heard of this either. I didn't even know that this was like a thing, I guess, right? Like I knew people collected this stuff, but not to kind of this degree. So anyway, so he goes to this local franchisee and, they sign a consignment agreement, right? He says like, hey, like I'll consign all of these sets to you. And I'll take a cut. You guys sell it, and you guys get a cut of the sales. And I think that he had so many sets and so many kind of like, I guess, figurines, like minifigs, I guess is the actual name. I didn't realize. I thought they were just called Lego Men, but they're called minifigs.
So it's I don't want to simplify it this much. It's almost like a GameStop for Legos.
Yes, right. Like basically, yeah. Like if you want to,
because you can go in and sell or trade in your games and whatnot. So I did not know there was such a business for Legos.
I didn't realize there was like such a huge market. But like apparently, he had so many sets that they had to bring in new shelves, like additional shelves to like hold all this stuff. I don't know exactly what the story is with the two franchisees. I'm still trying to figure out like some of this, but like. They say that they needed to move to Europe because the husband is a publisher, and I guess like he publishes stuff that is not too flattering to the current US government, right? Mm-hmm, and so due to fear of prosecution, which I guess also says something about what's going on in America right now, they reached out to the corporate people and said like, hey, like we would like to kind of sell our franchise. Do you have someone that would kind of come in and buy this, right? Because we have personal reasons why we need to move away. So corporate comes in and actually like he's like, yeah, actually I got a guy, and we can kind of take this over right now. This point is now. There's a lot of contention here, right? So this is their story. The minifigs.
What's the time frame from when the very beginning of this to where it's at now? How long has this been going on? Like days, weeks?
Oh, it's been like a year. It's been more than a year now.
A year? Oh,
yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
this is serious.
Like this stuff was like in 2025. Like the original kind of consignment agreement was in 2025. So then. There's also like video of this. The corporate says like, yeah, we have a guy to take it over, and there's like security cam footage that basically has like corporate coming in and essentially like kind of kicking these people out, being like, nah, you get out, like we're taking over the store. And this woman is like, hey, like I still need to document these sets that we're trying to sell for Brian because I need to kind of know which ones have been sold so that we can pay him out properly. And the corporate guy was just like, that's okay. This is a business matter. Like, you don't need to deal with that anymore. We'll take care of all of that. We'll take care of that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I guess Brian tries to kind of go back. And when companies change hands and stuff, you're probably like, hey, like, what's going to happen to my stuff? And these people are just extremely difficult, and like literally was just like, yeah, we're not gonna give you your stuff back, kind of thing, right? Like these
But
guys who
they
took over the store.
signed the consignment agreement, right?
Well, so they are like, so they're like, well, I didn't sign it, right? Even though like it was signed with this other person who no longer owns the shop. And also, she's not allowed to do consignment services because that's not part of our franchisee agreement or whatever. Like, this is not technically allowed. There is a copy of the franchisee agreement that actually kind of says otherwise. Although maybe they've updated it since or whatever, right? In the franchisee agreement, literally it says like you can offer consignment services, right? Is like a thing that they do, but whatever, right? Like that's neither here nor there. So they're saying basically corporate's like, yeah, well, this is also like against our rules or whatever. So they're just kind of like, yeah, we're just not giving you your stuff back, and we're not going to give you your money back, right? And then they end up like trespassing this guy as well.
How? Hold on. So, and maybe you'll go into this, but I'm sure there's the fine print and some of this legal paperwork, but not giving the stuff back, what gives them the right to keep it?
Yeah,
like, it's one thing for them. It's one thing for a business to be like, we're not going to honor this. We're not
the consignment
deal.
agreement.
And you would think at that point, it's like, here you go. So now,
here's your stuff back, right? Yeah.
How can they claim that that's now their stuff? If they're
so
like, there was, I'm assuming there was nothing in this paperwork that says that they get to keep it.
No, because if they're not at all.
Yeah, this is weird.
Yeah, so it's crazy, right? Because like, I guess like Brian basically was like, can you just let me come in and like I can just identify which sets are mine, because like his has like special yellow stickers on it or whatever, right? And there's pictures of like sets with yellow stickers and stuff, right? Like, so there's a lot of like, you know, artifacts that people can look into. And the guy was like, no, I'm not letting you in. And he's like, the only way you're going to get this back is like, you know, you'll have to take us to court or whatever, but we're going to drag this out for so long that this isn't even going to be worth your while. We're going to bury you in legal fees, essentially. That's what this one guy was saying, which is absolutely ridiculous, because I think you're exactly right, right? Like, I think the best example is, let's say that you're a renter and I'm your friend, and I park my car at like inside your garage, right? And let's say your landlord says like, Jim, you got to get out because you've violated our rental agreement because, you know, I hate Steph Curry and you put a Steph Curry jersey up on my walls.
Oh, don't slander the goat.
Right? So let's say that's what happens, right? Well, he can kick you out, right? And my car is now in your previous apartment or whatever, your rental home.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't give him rights to my car. Like, he has to give me my car back, right? Like,
yeah, and where my brain's immediately going on this, and I have to assume that this has been the public response, that's an automatic like boycott of the entire business, not just
that there's a lot of people that
like
are mad.
all of them. And I'm sure there's more to the story you're getting to, but I'm just like immediately like, excuse me, none of that makes
crazy.
sense.
It's crazy. And I guess like Brian already thought that like, oh, like I'm probably just not gonna get my stuff back, and enter a YouTuber. So there's this YouTuber called Reckless Ben or whatever his name is. Yeah, Reckless Ben. And he does these YouTube videos where he like infiltrates cults and things like that and whatever. And I guess at the end of his previous video series, he was just like, hey, like, you know, if you guys have any ideas of things that I should look into, you know, please shoot me an email or whatever. And I guess Brian's friend follows Ben and sent him an email and said like, hey, like this is like a thing that's going on, whatever, right? And then Ben decided like, hey, maybe this is an interesting one for him and his team to kind of take on, because I think that because he does these like investigations into cults and things like that, a lot of his stuff on YouTube gets demonetized, right? So he's like, hey, like, well, this is Legos, it's kind of very family friendly, right? You know, it should be fine. So he then, you know, talks to Brian, and then they decide like, hey, yeah, let's go do this thing. It should be kind of fun, right?
It's funny because I feel like there's been a rise in that type of YouTuber lately, and there's a lot of dumb YouTube content out there. Like, what's that guy that got thrown in jail in Japan? There's been various stories of just
Johnny
really dumb.
Somali.
Thank you. That's the one.
Well,
Yes.
he's in jail in Korea.
Or is it Korea?
Yeah,
There must.
but
I think there's another one in Japan too.
he got kicked out of Japan
Oh, he got kicked
first.
Okay.
Yeah,
I knew it was something like that. There's a lot of just dumb stuff like that on YouTube, but then there's a lot of like this category, and I love it because who's going to hold these people and these companies accountable? Where's the national media on this? Like, mainstream media. Has
so
this been in the news?
I think it's broken containment, like, because I think like they're on like Fox and stuff now. Like, it has definitely broken containment at this point because I think that his like Reckless Ben's video has 4 point.
Did it break containment before this Reckless Ben got involved, or was it after?
After.
See, that's interesting. I guess, yeah. How would anybody else have known? So good job, Reckless Ben.
His original video, I'm just going to take a look here. It's called "I Tracked Down the Thief Who Stole $200,000 of Lego." Has over
$200,000 of Legos.
Yeah.
Hey,
this collection is allegedly worth $200,000. I'll let you watch the video, but basically Ben goes to the store and tries to talk to the people there, and he has like these spy glasses and stuff, so he's kind of recording all these interactions and stuff, so he has all the footage and stuff like that. And like, long story short is like the store manager is super uncooperative, and then like calls the cops on him and says like, hey, you're harassing me. So then they get trespassed, and I guess the story of how Ben is like trying to get to the bottom of this, and so like they have this kind of like passing the buck where they're the store owners like, well, this is a corporate problem, so they go to the corporate headquarters, and corporate's like, well, this is a franchisee problem. So he's like, well, what am I supposed to do here? There's like this weird passing the buck kind of situation. And
sounds like one of the numerous terrible phone support queues I've been in for certain service providers.
Yeah, 100%. And the long and short of it like is like they keep getting the cops called on them, like, so they get trespassed from the store. And he comes up with these different schemes. They were raffling off one of these Lego sets that were inside the store, allegedly. I think we have to be careful here. Like, all this is like allegedly. And
allegedly. Don't sue us.
Yeah, and then like some kid won it, and then they go into the store to try and get this Lego set. Obviously, they're like, well, we're not giving it to you. Like, this is not like a legitimate raffle or whatever. But it was a legitimate raffle. But like, the cops get called on them again. And he thought the cops were actually going to like investigate this time. And the cops he handed him like the law book and everything. He's just like, yeah, like, we need these people to, investigate this. And this one cop starts looking at it, and then like this other cop shows up and whispers something into this ear. And then they all just kind of like leave. They're like, there's kind of like nothing to see here, right? Kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
So then they sue the owner of the franchise, right? And then there's like a lot of drama that goes on there because they kind of split the suit up into 10 separate suits in a legitimate way. Like, so there is like, so you technically aren't allowed to sue the same person like 10 times or whatever. So basically what they did was they had Brian sell the Lego sets to them, to 10 of his friends, and then they went and like bought the Lego sets and gave Brian the money, and so now they have like a legal claim to these sets. So then like 10 of them like sued these guys, the store, in court, and I think they were gonna get like a default judgment or whatever. So then they're like, okay, great, because like those guys just didn't show up, and they go to the store to try and basically say like, hey, like, there's this default judgment again, so you guys gotta pay us back, right? Or whatever the case may be. And they go to the store the next day, and like the store is like closed down now, right? It's like yeah, they close the store. Like, these guys close the store. So
what?
Then Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like I feel like this story is just insane. Like I can't stop like just kind of like sucking up every piece of content. And
This feels like
then
it was like some secret money laundering operation running.
I feel like you can make a movie out of this. So then they are like, okay, well, like what can we do, right? Like now that the store's closed, like I guess so they're like, okay, well, I guess we could sue these guys. Like this guy's name is Josh and Brandon, I think. And the CEO of the Bricks and Minifigs, his name is Ammon, and they're like, well, we can sue Josh and Brandon, right? Like, yeah, we can sue these guys personally, right, in small claims court, but then you have to serve the papers, right? Because like that's how this kind of works. You have to serve them so they know they're getting sued, and so they drive to Utah where all these guys are, and they're like trying to serve this guy, and before they even can, like, cops are called on them, and then it was like super goofy. Like they're driving away, and then like there's this cop following them, and they're just like, okay, follow every single rule, please don't like break any rules. And the cop pulls them over, claims they ran a stop sign, and they're just like, well, like there's videos here that show that we didn't run a stop sign, but like whatever, right, I guess. And then these cops are like, oh yeah, like we also think that there's like heroin in your car or something like that.
What?
So they like search this guy's car for like 3 hours, right? I don't think you can just do that, right? Like I think there are kind of rules against that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
On Legos, like give the
that's
Legos
crazy.
back.
It's crazy.
Wait, so
yeah, just give them back. That's
so
like
hold
my
on.
thing.
So before continuing at this part, I have to know: did the franchisees ever say why they would not just give the Legos back in the beginning?
Okay, so later on, it was found out, like, so there's some audio clip that basically said, like, oh, Brian's being annoying, so I just don't want to give it back to him.
But they didn't have any kind of like a legal justification. They're just like, we're just not going to give it back.
Yeah, and they're just like, well, these are ours. We bought the franchise, so everything in it belongs to us.
I guess here's the other thing, right?
And we don't assume any of the liabilities of the previous franchisee.
But it depends, right? Because I'm certainly not a lawyer. That original consignment agreement with the original owner was because they might have a technicality on their hands if that agreement was signed by the individual as opposed to the individual signing on behalf of the company.
I don't know exactly.
It's still not a good move, but yeah, I'm wondering if there's something like that. But then they're also just being general dicks about the situation.
Bro, just give the guy his Legos back, right? Like his dad's old and not well. Like I feel like the move would have been like, this is how I see it. Like and maybe this is why I don't own a $400 million Lego empire, because apparently that's what this company's worth.
Hey, come on, man, get with it.
Yeah,
get on
the way I
grind.
see it is like, if I'm the CEO, like this Eamon guy, and this comes across my desk, right? Like, hey, like this guy had this agreement with a franchisee, and even if it's like against the rules, right? I would be like, the first thing I'd say, like, okay, well, we should just give them back, right? Like that's the easiest thing to do. And the second thing, right, is you could just be like, hey, why don't we also try to raise money for your dad? Maybe we can sell these for you, or we'll sell them and we won't take our cut, like something like that. Like, or you can leave them here, you can sell them, we won't take our cut, right? Just take all the money, right? Like, the amount of goodwill that you would garner by doing that would be incredible, right? Because you're just like, hey, like look at this guy, they're helping this dude who's sick, right? And instead, like this guy just chose those games where you get to choose like the good and the bad choice or whatever, and it kind of like Mass Effect or whatever, like
a Skyrim or
Detroit
Skyrim
or whatever, right?
Like,
I feel like this guy just
you
chose
push the right sequence.
Yeah, like this guy just chose the bad choice for every single one of the pop-ups. So
Press F.
Anyway.
Press F to doubt.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, like they try to serve this guy. So he even tried to get like a process server to actually serve the papers. And I guess like the Josh guy was like, this is a fake process server. She's not real. These are fake papers as well. And like the cops just kind of like believed everything this guy said, right? Like without looking into, what was going on. But the craziest part was
were those legit papers?
Yeah.
Like from the court.
Yeah, they were actual legit papers, right?
Okay.
But like also maybe like the thing is like the jurisdiction might be like, I think it's like different maybe across different states. Like I don't know how this works, but like the cop was like, well, I have never seen papers that don't have like a judge's name on it or whatever. And Reckless Ben was like, yeah, but like that's why we need to serve them, and then the judge's name gets put on them after we've served these papers. Maybe that's like a different state law kind of thing, like whatever, right? Giving the benefit of the doubt, right, to the cops. But there is a point too, right, where the cop actually called the court to confirm that these were real, and they still like just didn't serve the papers to the guy just because that guy said like, I don't want them. So it's super weird, right? Like there's a lot of like corruption, I think, that's going on with the cops, and like there's these kind of like small town cops in Utah, right? It also turns out that they're all part of the Mormon church or whatever, but I don't think that that's like the reason why. I don't think that Mormons are like a monolith, right? Like this is more like just like small town cops are just like looking out for like their friends or whatever kind of thing. Now it's like this, it's just blown up to the point where Bricks and Minifigs is suing Brian and Ben, and then the original owners of the franchise is suing Bricks and Minifigs because they're saying like, hey, like these are lies that they're telling about us and stuff like that. And it's so crazy, right? Because this Eamon guy like is on Fox or whatever, and he's like reading this like prepared statement of like, hey, like Brian, like we want to work with you, like we've been reaching out to you, and which is like all false, like provably false. Like they've not wanted to work with this guy, right? And they've kind of jerked him around. And it's like, oh yeah, like we want to make this right, blah 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 blah, right? But then like at the same time, like you're suing him. So like, what are you talking about here, right? Like, yeah, this lawsuit against this guy. So I mean, I think the only solace is that they started a GoFundMe for Brian, because I think like Reckless Ben at one point was just like, yeah, like I don't think we'll be able to ever get these Legos back. So maybe let's just start like a GoFundMe, right? So that the Brian's dad can get the care that he needs or whatever. And yeah, now I think the GoFundMe's up to like $400,000 or whatever, because the internet just does like internet things. Yeah,
well, that's a happy little ending, I guess. But
yeah, but this is the thing. Like, so Bricks and Minifigs is suing them in such a way that I think they're saying like there's like illegal enrichment or whatever. So I have a feeling that their lawyers, and they have like this multi-billion-dollar law firm that's like that they've hired to take on this case. But
this is company suicide for them. Are they?
Yeah, it's
dumb?
over.
Are they that dumb and greedy?
Yeah,
well,
so
probably because there's a lot of big corporations that are that dumb and greedy.
Yeah, because they think that like, hey, like we're this giant behemoth and you can't take us on. So they have it basically in their suit. And I think what they're trying to angle is like if Brian and Ben lose this court battle, that Bricks and Minifigs is actually owed all of the money in the GoFundMe, which is like God. So evil.
I hope everybody boycotts every location of that Bricks and Minifigs. Yeah. What the heck? Okay. So many questions popped into my head. Wow, you weren't kidding when you put that note in our group that said this Lego thing is crazy. I'm like, how could Legos be that crazy?
It's insane.
I wouldn't have guessed this was the extent of that.
Yeah.
Holy smokes! Wow. And it's funny, right? We're startup founders. Let's say we were, I don't know, 3-5 years down the road with our businesses right now, and a situation like this presented itself.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that it would be no-brainers for you or I to be like, oh, this is a perfect goodwill opportunity that would boost the business and be like free marketing.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
honor that and be like, look, we do this for our customers. And not be thinking like, how can we weasel away, every little penny, not thinking about the repercussions or the blowback. Because that blowback is essentially, maybe Bricks and Minifigs gets away with this. But if they win and they get all that money, I don't see how that doesn't sink them, or at least really knock them down a peg.
Yeah, I don't think there's coming back from this, if I'm being honest, right? Like, so people are boycotting it, and I feel bad because like a lot of franchisees don't have anything to do with, obviously the big corporate monster. But at the same time, however, I think that you have to boycott them because every single dollar that a franchisee makes, a percentage of that goes to corporate, like it goes to this Eamon guy, right? So like it sucks. I feel awful for like people that are gonna, lose possibly their livelihoods or their dreams of owning this small little business or whatever, right? But like you can't give this guy more money.
No, I mean, and that's just emblematic, I think, of a lot of the ills that are plaguing, at least here in the States, but I'm sure over there in Europe as well, is this type of behavior that is being exhibited by these types of companies. It's
we can just kind of drag this out in the courts and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, and I think that's to me, the big moral of this story for me actually is that like the legal system that's meant to protect people has ballooned into this monster of a thing that essentially like you as a little guy can't actually use it to protect you.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
It started this whole chain reaction. It makes me think of like what other seemingly innocuous events could continue to blow up into something like this in the future.
Yeah, I mean,
what has already happened that maybe has never been reported on.
Right, exactly, right? Because like if it hadn't been that Brian's friend, right, like wasn't watching Reckless Ben's content, right, like he would have never submitted it to Reckless Ben, and I don't think any of us would have heard about this, right? Like Brian would be out $200K, right, and his dad would be sick, and that's it. Basically, right? Like he would just be like, and he'd just be another number.
It's indirectly, dare I say, killing somebody because if he can't get the care he needs because of that, you just literally sentenced someone to death.
Right? Like, like for some ego trip or whatever, right? Like, it's like, dude, it's $200K. You're a $400 million company, man. Like, just give the guy even if you don't give him money, just give him his stuff back.
I was about to look that up as like, how much business does this company actually make like across all of their franchises? Is it that much? 400 mil?
I think so. I heard somewhere it was like 400 million, right? So to me, it's just like, this is crazy, right? This is so insane that like
that does bring
you
up
as the CEO. Yeah, go ahead.
Devil's advocate. 200,000. Would that money have come from that franchise or would it have come from corporate? How is it structured, I guess, in that agreement? Because that's like, does one of those franchises have 200K on hand to just do that on the spot?
I imagine it would come from the franchise, right? But like, I don't know. To me, it's just like, well, then just give him his stuff back. Like, it's pretty.
That is a large amount of money for a little, brick and mortar store to just give somebody. Like, even if they had money, it's like $200,000 is still, that's a sizable number.
But just give him his Legos back then.
Exactly. Yes. There's no excuse for not just.
Like, I think that's it, right?
Our mistake.
Just give them back. Like, sorry, we can't give you the money, but here's the stuff that we sold. Here's your cut. and here's all your stuff back.
Or
Like, I think it's pretty simple, right?
They not only do that, they still want that easy marketing win because they can't fork out $200K. They host, like, I don't know, a weekend sale where 10% of the proceeds go to the dad.
Yeah,
easy
exactly,
marketing
right?
win. There's so many ways they could have handled this better.
I feel like there's so many ways that all of this could have been handled better, right? I feel for Brian, right? But I also think that, like, because he was just like, yeah, like, I'm gonna get buried in legal fees or whatever, right? But, like, I don't know, man. Like, for 200 for something that's worth 200K, I'm sure you can, like, it feels like you can find a lawyer that would do this on contingency, right? Like that, like, you don't take the money until you get paid, and they'll take a percentage cut of your settlement or whatever, right? Yeah. I just feel like there's so many parts of this, like, all of these people should have actually hired a lawyer. As much as I hate lawyers, right, that could have actually just made this so much easier.
I have to assume that he when he went to go sell those Legos, would have never dreamed that this is where it would go.
No way.
And probably along the way was hopeful that they would do one of the right things, and then maybe they give him the Legos back, and all right, well, let me go find a plan B on how to help dad. So, and maybe they didn't have money for the lawyer up front. I don't know. There's just so many red flags here. It's just like,
it's just so crazy, right? And, like, the fact that, like, the Bricks and Minifigs, like, I don't know, like, their legal or PR team, they didn't consult about this. Like even if you, as the CEO, right, you are a complete, like, sociopath, and you're just like, fuck people, I don't care about them, I just care about enriching myself, right? Like, I imagine if you talk to your legal counsel or your PR team, they'd be like, yo, this is a really bad idea, just give him his stuff back, right? Like,
do we know in the story? So, okay, the new owners come in, and then they say, okay, we're not going to do this deal. Right at that point in time, had this been communicated back to that Amon guy, or did that happen?
I think that Amon guy was the contact for the original owners, like, because they contacted him to say, like, hey, we want to get rid of this place. Those guys also own the Josh and Brandon also own another location, so they're already franchisees. And then they took over this shop in Salem, and it's
why did the Salem guy want to sell? Was that ever disclosed?
Yeah, because they were moving to Europe.
Oh,
these were the original ones. Remember, I said, like,
yeah.
So that's why they wanted to sell. But now this is contested by Bricks and Minifigs, because Bricks and Minifigs basically said, like, actually, these franchisees owed us tons of money, and they didn't pay us back, and, you know, that they actually stole the Lego sets. So it's crazy.
That is a little interesting on the timing. It's like, do this agreement, and then shortly thereafter sell the store. That is also a little interesting. Don't know if that it could be completely unrelated, but it is also interesting timing.
Yeah, but it is also legit that, like, the lady's husband is genuinely a publisher and has published stuff that is very anti your current government.
Yeah, I don't know how that would affect the logistics of this, though.
I think that's their reasoning for why they wanted to leave the country, like, why they needed to move to sell the shop. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Got it.
So, anyway,
man,
I would say,
suddenly I feel like our startup's problems seem so small in comparison to that.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I just think that our startups would never end up in this place, right? Like, you and I talked about just, like, a little bit, right? Or earlier here, right? Is that, like, if we were ever in a position where our company was making $400 million a year, and this was like a $100,000 problem, or not even a problem, right? Like a $200,000 goodwill check that you could give someone so that they could actually get medical care, right?
Or at the very least, like, don't be a dick and keep things that aren't yours.
Yeah, like exactly. Like at the very, very least, just give the guy his Legos back and he can go and sell them somewhere else, right? Like you can sell them on eBay or whatever, because apparently some of these sets are, I didn't know this, some of these sets were $10,000 a set or something like that. So
that's,
it's crazy.
Why are Legos that expensive? That's another question.
I think these are like kind of like these more rare sets that you can't, that are kind of out of print, so you can't get them anymore.
I was gonna say, is it like is it like a Pokemon card situation?
Yeah, I think it's something like that. Yeah, basically.
I would. Growing up playing with Legos all the time, and then watching my kids play with them, I'm like, I don't look at that as like, wow, that's thousands of dollars.
That's worth so much money.
All right, now I'm gonna go tell my boys. All right, pack them up. We're sealing these. We're cleaning them, polishing them.
We're gonna take them to the bricks and minifigs.
No, we're gonna let inflation help them appreciate in value, and then we're gonna go sell them. Jeez.
But I guess these were like unsealed, like these were sealed sets, like never been opened.
Oh, so then values even higher. Okay.
Yeah. So
well, I learned something today. So this is actually, you weren't kidding. Wow.
I feel like you can make a movie. You can make a movie out of this.
How many people that are not chronically online have an idea about this story?
I don't know, because I talked to a few of my friends, and there were a couple that knew, and they were like also really engrossed in kind of the lore. But like my partner would have never known had it not been for me. But yeah, like I don't think you have to be chronically. Yeah, we're definitely doing our part. Like I just don't think you have to be chronically online. Like I had heard about this story probably like 2 weeks ago, and even at that time I was already like, this is actually kind of insane. And
I saw some headlines flash, and I was like, Legos in the headlines, that's interesting. I think I might have looked at like the first sentence or two and didn't think a whole lot about it, because I think it must have been earlier when all this reporting was going down. And then I probably was thinking like, well, that's the end of that. I had no idea there was this saga that just kept going.
It's crazy. Like there's like so much like police corruption. I think you could definitely make a movie out of this, because there's just so much that's happening, right? There's like these stolen Legos. There's the guy, even like the human interest, right? The little guy who's getting screwed. And then you have this vigilante who also kind of breaks the rules. He he also has definitely broken rules to get it to this point. And then you have like the big bad corporation, and then you have the police corruption. You have everything. Like I was locked in, man. I am still locked in. I'm on the train.
Yeah, now I feel like I gotta lock in. I gotta hop on following this story to the conclusion. Which sounds like if there is more legal action in play, then it could drag out for another year.
I think this could go on for a while, because they're suing Reckless Ben, and I think like he could go to, like if he loses the lawsuit, he could go to jail for like 10 years or something like that. Because they're trying to get him on RICO charges, which is like so crazy. Oh yeah, I forgot to even tell you. Like they're trying to get him on RICO charges, which is like so insane.
I mean, if that actually happened, which would suck, you would definitely have earned the moniker of Reckless.
Yeah, he definitely did not misname himself. So anyway, now you're caught up, and
as is the audience.
The audience is caught up.
You've learned far more about Legos, and I'd never even heard of bricks and minifigs until you started talking about this.
Me neither. I hadn't heard of this store at all, right? But I think that if you're like in the kind of Lego collecting universe, like you know about these guys.
So you know what I'm doing right now? I'm looking to see where is the closest location.
Is there one nearby?
Let's find out in real time. Bricks and minifigs.
Awesome.
It's not super close, but there are Bay Area Well, no, wait. San Ramon, which is
wow, okay. There
East Bay, in the Bay Area here. Huh.
There you go.
Well, look at that. I would have never guessed.
Would have never known. But yeah, now y'all are caught up, and this is also like, you can expect this kind of content. If something's topical, we'll talk about it. Or like Jim was mentioning, our original episode was about the best of the internet. And if you like this kind of stuff, right, we are going to do weekly episodes. And yeah, drop us a like, subscribe. That really helps in the algorithm and gets more people to know about us.
Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your local bricks and minifigs. Actually, don't do that.
No, don't tell them. Don't tell them.
Well, pleasure as always. I think this episode 1, hopefully we'll be going off without a hitch compared to last time. So,
well, at least I won't have to, nearly throw my computer out the window trying to do the editing. So that'll be good.
Yeah, don't do that.
All right,
everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in, and yeah, we'll do this again.
We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Bye.